And I think that one of the biggest fears that we have is, oh my goodness, it's not going to be perfect. I'm not going to have everything that I need when I need it. Hello everybody and welcome back to this week's episode of It Takes Grit with your host Rebecca Louise. Yes, the podcast that teaches you the grit that you need to help you get to where you want to be in life, whatever that might be. Now I got a couple of updates before we dive straight into today's podcast. I know that everybody has been itching to know, like, why Everest? What are my fears? What's happening? When do you leave? When do you go? When do you get back? And I am just in awe of all of the love and support, first of all, so thank you so much. I'm feeling like even more confident. Like, you don't understand, like, just your comment, you watching this, you being part of this, you listening, makes such a difference to how I'm going to take this journey on, because I know that I've got you behind me. I know that you've got me there holding my back and just keeping me going and doing the grit. That's the reason that I wanted to do this back in 2020. And I really wanted to start doing it in the beginning of 2019 when I was writing my book. And I thought, you know what? Like, I have not done something that's really got me outside of my comfort zone, really made me feel like, oh, I'm testing my grit. And I just had this kind of epiphany, and I knew somebody who was part of Everest. I'd done it many, many times, and it was just these things that aligned. And I'll dive deep into a really long podcast about why and what it looks like and the journey and all those questions. And you know, I've had so many. I mean, my TikTok is going like crazy. I think people are just obsessed with Everest, obsessed with the journey. So if you're not already following me on there, make sure that you do. It is Rebecca Louise Fitness on TikTok. Now, this podcast comes out, and 2 weeks later, I'm literally jumping on an airplane and going to Nepal. So it really is like getting close. I'm like, oh my goodness, now it's going to be a week away. Then it's going to be 2 days away. And so what we're doing, and I wanted to do something special just to bring people on the journey with me, and for you guys to like get your own Everest. Like, what is your Everest? Like, what is you reaching your Everest? Whether, you know, that's, you know, deciding that you want to quit your job and start a new career, whether that's wanting to run a 5K, whether that's, you know, training for a bikini competition, like whatever it is, like, what is your Everest this year? Not in 3 years' time, not in 5 years, not 10, but what is your Everest right now? So I was like, okay, well, I don't want to just be away and not to give anybody something to kind of work on to find their Everest. So we have created the Break Free Challenge. Oh yes, the 5-day challenge. I am so excited about this. So much work and so much effort and attention to detail has gone into this challenge. So you can sign up for free. You can do it anytime that I'm in Everest. Now, we don't know how quickly I'm going to summit. So the goal is to start ASAP. The challenge actually opens on the 11th of April, 2022. And you just go to thebreakfreechallenge.com and you'll be registered and you'll get access to the challenge. We have a private Facebook group. We have a private community. It is going to be absolutely epic. You're going to get exclusive things as well that I'm doing in Everest. You're going to get this challenge too. And the most important thing is that you're going to break free from your limitations. You're going to get unstuck and you're going to crush your goals and find your Everest. That is what this is all about, is finding your Everest and just breaking through from anything that has been holding you back. Like, is it a lack of confidence? Is it a lack of the people that you're around? Like, is it the lack of skill set that you have right now? What is it that we can break free from you to help you get unstuck and reach your goals and help you actually experience your Everest this year? And so we got that going on. I just got back from the most incredible Oscar party. I mean, I'm like at Elton John's Oscar party. What is going on? Absolutely crazy. And the first minute that we're there, it's when Lady Gaga was on the red carpet with Caitlyn Jenner. And Lady Gaga walks past me literally this far apart. I could have touched her. And all I kept thinking was, have you done the Lady Gaga arms workout? Have you seen it on YouTube? Would you like to do it? I was just like, oh my goodness, be cool. And I'm trying to video. And then we're spotted in the background. Luke and I actually spotted. I think the video went viral because of the conversation that Caitlyn Jenner and Lady Gaga had with each other. But it was just wild. I'm like, oh, yep, that's us on TV. So it was amazing. It was all for charity. I met Jay Shetty. I met Charlie and Dixie from TikTok. I met Heidi Klum. I met Caitlyn Jenner. I mean, like, did not get a picture with Lady Gaga. I was too scared to like ask, but it was amazing, and it was all for charity. And I thought that, going to a party like that, I was nervous. Like, I was super nervous, because, there's a lot of celebrities there, and you're like, oh my God, like that's so-and-so, like over there, like, oh, this is like Lady Gaga. But it really wasn't, and we bumped into a couple of people that we knew as well. And it was just amazing. We had so much fun dancing on the dance floor. My feet, oh my goodness me, because I was in heels from like 3:30 till 1 a.m. and I couldn't bear it. At the end, my feet were like absolutely agony. That's the only thing I could have done is like maybe I need like a pair of like roll up flip-flops. Anyway, a little bit different getting dressed up and glitz up in the Elton John Oscar party to Everest. But yes, leaving in 2 weeks, and we have got Luke's stepkids in town this weekend as well. So they're here with their partners. So there's like 8 of us, which is going to be so much fun. They're all staying in the house. So like massive sleepover. They're around my age, so it's really fun. To be able to have them like hang out here. We're going on a yacht one day. We're going to go to the beach club one day. And it's just going to be amazing. And then Luke's daughter is coming over, and she's going to be with us for like 10 days before we leave. So it's a full on action packed. It's not exactly what I thought was going to happen before I went to Everest, but this is 2 years ago I was meant to do it. But it turns out that life is even better than you expected. So putting the final touches together, I've still got to get one of my sleeping bags. I've still got to get a few other things. I'm still checking on some of my clothing, a couple of other brand deals that might be coming in as well, that I get to work with some brands as I'm going. And it's just like, I'm like, oh no, I need to sit down and like do this right now. And I think that, I get myself so prepared, I really do, but there's always going to be things that slip through the crack. And I think that one of the biggest fears that we have is, oh my goodness, it's not going to be perfect. I'm not going to have everything that I need when I need it. And look, life always works out. If I forget something, it's not going to be the end of the world. As long as I've got my like big Everest boots and my like suit, I'm going to be good. But there's things that we can get in Kathmandu. There's other things that can be done if I like miss up on something. So I think that one of the biggest fears going into this is not having the right gear. I mean, for me, my mindset, and I've never been tested. I think my other fear too, I've probably got a couple of fears. One is like the unknown. I feel like I have a really good mindset and positive. I show up, I keep going, even though when it struggles, even if I'm sick, I'm just like, you know what? Like there's somebody always sicker than me. I feel okay. Like, you can get through it. Most of the time, I mean, when I had COVID, I was doing lives on Amazon. I did Amazon lives. I did a live for 4 Paws as well, because that was my commitment. Like I committed to doing that, and I'm fine. I just basically slowed down the pace of the workout. You probably go back to those and see like, there's a lot of modifications in this workout, Rebecca. But I think that's the fear of the unknown of how difficult it's going to be. Like I have some ideas. I have, had experience enough because I went to Ecuador. I went to the Alps twice. I went to Bozeman, Montana, ice climbing, that I have some experience, but you just don't know what you don't know. And it's only until I get there and I'm, sitting there and I'm just like I'm sitting there at base camp and I'm ready to start walking and climbing, that I'm really going to know what that feels like. And we can have fears about like the unknown. However, I think I would be lying if I said like I had this like massive fear about the unknown. I think it's more coming from a place of like excitement. Like I'm so excited to see Nepal. I'm so excited to see what base camp looks like. I'm so excited to meet other climbers. I'm so excited, to see what the Hillary Step looks like. I'm so excited, if we get to the top of Everest, like what would that even feel like? Like I don't know any of these things, but it doesn't matter that I don't know. Like, how can we turn our fears into pure excitement? Because really, it's the adrenaline that kind of feel a little bit the same. I have a little bit of fear from my clothes not fitting right. Yes, I have some stuff that I haven't even, worn yet that's being sent to me. But I did the great thing by preparing as much as I could. I tried on the boots that I'm going to be wearing as I do my summit push, and they did keep me warm, so I feel really confident about those. There's lots of items of clothing that I kind of got more familiar with. Now, that's the other thing. One time we're thinking like the fear of the unknown. How can we change that into being excited? And the other fear is like, what if I don't know enough? Like, what if these gears, this doesn't fit right? Like, what if I haven't tested it? Well, guess what? The only way that you can test anything is by actually doing it, which is why I went to Ecuador, I went to the Alps twice, and I went to Bozeman, Montana. That last trip to the Alps, I kind of squeezed that one in. Like, it didn't have to be. However, I was like, if I go to the Alps, it's going to give me a little bit more certainty about the new boots that I have. It's going to get me reconnected with my guide, Kenton, so that we know how to work together. It's going to get me back in the element so that it's not so far away from where I was at. And so often the fear of, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I've got the right skill set. This is where I'm going with this. If I don't know if I have the right skill set, because for me, how I'm going to relate it to you is I don't know if I have the right gear. Well, how do I check I have the right gear and I have the right skill set? There's only one way to do that, and that's actually to go and do it and prepare. Remember, as Jim Rohn says, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. And so I feel more confident because I've gone to these multiple trips, because I've spoken to Kenton numerous times, because I know who my videographer is, because I've made myself aware. So if you're sitting there going, oh my goodness, like I have this fear of like the unknown, one, how can you change that into like pure excitement and just like energy? And then secondly, how can you change like not knowing a skill set or not knowing if something will work to like, well, let me figure out the answer so that I can figure out how it works. Like there's always an answer to everything. Like, oh my goodness, like there's just answer to everything. There's an answer to, like, if you round Luke gets stuff done. If you think in life, well, I've been dealt these cards, like, I can't pay for this, this doesn't work, like, I can't go here, I'm not going to be able to make it there. You've already created a story that's not happening, and you're already just looking at what the problem is, rather than figuring it out. This world is full of people figuring stuff out and finding the solution. There's always a solution if you're willing to look for it, and if you're willing to have the work ethic to do it, and also if you are willing to have the mindset to say, you know what? I don't quite understand the answer right now. I've been told no a few times, or this doesn't look like, how it's meant to be, and I can't do this because of X, Y, and Z. However, you can figure it out of how you can do it. So maybe you're in a job right now and you're like, yeah, well, I'd love to be able to do X, Y, and Z in my job, but I've been told that I can't do this. Well, how can you bring it to somebody in your business or who you work for to say like, hey, I've got this great idea. And this is why I think X, Y, and Z should be like this. It's in a relationship. If you're like, no, they always just tell me, don't do that. It's not good for you. No, don't join this business. Don't go to that workout class. But if you explain it to them like, hey, I understand that's how you feel, but let me look at another way to look at it, right? This thing gives me pure joy. Like this business is giving me another opportunity to make some extra income, which is making me feel confident in myself. And it's also giving me some stability and some also independence. So you're looking at the independence and the stability rather than the job. And so that's what I really wanted to touch on today is all the things that you can start to implement in your life today that get you excited. Instead of having the fear of like, oh my goodness, like this can't work, or like, I don't know what's going to happen. It's the excitement of what can happen. And rather than thinking like, I don't know if this is going to work, it's just build the skill set to make it happen. I'm going to do another podcast next week as I'm rolling up to Everest. I'm going to attempt to film some why I am there as well, so you do not want to miss that. So make sure that you subscribe to the podcast, you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and of course, the most important thing for April and May is that you do our 5-day break-free challenge, because that is honestly going to change your trajectory, and we're going to find your Everest. I love you guys so much. Woo, I hope that you took something away with this. You got a little fire under your butt, and I'll see you on next week's episode. Bye.